Barbie is the talk of 2023, but the 11.5-inch doll has a checkered past with magic breasts, racism, and the FBI. This is the scandalous life of Barbie. The official story for the creation of Barbie is that Mattel co-founder Ruth Handler was inspired by her daughter playing with paper dolls. But Barbie was not the first doll of her kind. It was the summer of 1956. The Handlers were holidaying in Switzerland when Ruth encountered a doll that looked like a grown woman. Based on a sassy call girl comic strip for the German tabloid Bild, the doll was marketed as a novelty gift for adults. Specifically, Bild Lily was aimed at men. But Handler recognized the potential in the hypersexualized Bild Lily. She realized that instead of young girls playing happy families with baby dolls, they might prefer to play with a doll that looked older, that they could imagine themselves as one day. 3 years later, Barbara Millicent Roberts, aka Barbie, was born. She was an instant success. Mattel sold 351,000 dolls in their first year and have since sold over 1 billion dolls across the world. Now here's where Mattel dropped the ball. You may know that Barbie was named after Ruth Handler's daughter Barbara. But did you know that Barbie's boyfriend Ken was actually named after Ruth's son Kenneth? Apparently the Handlers didn't see anything strange about making the two characters date. Mattel confirmed that Barbie and Ken ended their 43-year relationship in 2004.
Because I will confirm that Ken and Barbie are going to go their separate ways.
However, the pair reunited with the release of the Toy Story 3 movie. Barbie had one of her more outrageous moments very early on. In 1963, a teenaged babysitter Barbie was accompanied by a tiny doll-sized weight loss book with the sage advice, don't eat. 2 years later, Barbie is still reading how to lose weight, but now she's going to sleepovers. And one of her slumber party essentials? A pink scale that is permanently set at 110 pounds, which has been calculated to be 35 pounds underweight for a 5'9" woman. Although the company insisted for decades that Barbie had no impact on girls' opinions of their bodies, some research suggests otherwise. In a 2006 study, psychologists found that 5 to 8-year-old girls who played with Barbie had less confidence in their own bodies. They also expressed a stronger desire to be thin than girls who didn't play with the doll. Today, the Barbie Fashionistas line offers several different skin tones, hair textures, and body types. Original, curvy, tall, and petite. However, it did take them 56 years to start producing dolls with more realistic proportions. Skipper was first launched in 1964 as Barbie's baby sister. But a little over 10 years later, and Mattel decided that it was time for Skipper to hit puberty. Growing up, Skipper was miraculously capable of growing boobs and getting taller by simply rotating her arm. If only puberty was this easy! Chaos ensued with their unintentionally perverted doll, and the busty Barbie was quickly pulled from stores. We all know that Ken is Barbie's greatest accessory. But the earring magic Ken doll is also notable for inspiring a toy craze among gay men, with some claims that it was the highest-selling Ken doll of all time. Due to low Ken sales in the 90s, Mattel conducted a survey asking girls if Ken should remain as Barbie's boyfriend or whether a new doll should be introduced to the role. Survey results showed that girls wanted Ken, but they wanted him to look cooler, and thus the accidental gay icon Earring Magic Ken was created. Because he fit nearly every single early 90s gay stereotype, conversations grew around Ken's sexuality. The doll also came fitted with a questionable metal ring necklace hanging from his neck. I'll let your imagination run wild as to what that's meant to be. Sadly, Mattel discontinued the doll, shoving the accidentally gay Ken back into the closet by pulling him from the shelves. I honestly don't know how these two Barbies got approved, but in 1997, an Oreo Fun Barbie was released. Mattel released a white Oreo Barbie first, who, for obvious reasons, debuted without any problems. But apparently no one at Mattel was familiar with the racial slur, and a black Oreo Barbie was released shortly after. Once Mattel executives understood their mistake, they recalled the doll and got rid of their remaining stock. You'd think Mattel would have learned their lesson. However, just 12 years later, Ritz Cracker Barbie was born, later being referred to simply as Cracker Barbie. According to Mattel, Shara Small Becky was meant to be Barbie's friend with a disability that was designed so that the Barbie doll world will reflect the richness and greatness of the real world. And at the time, it seemed like Mattel was making great strides. There was just one teensy tiny detail they missed. Kids soon realized that Becky's realistically designed pink wheelchair wouldn't fit through the door of the Barbie dream house. So much for leading the way for accessible play. Barbie's best friend Midge Hadley was first introduced in 1963. Midge was initially created as a response to criticism that Barbie was too mature for children. Various iterations of the doll have been released over the years, however none caused as much uproar as Happy Family's Midge sporting a pregnant belly and no wedding ring or Alan, her longtime partner, in sight. God forbid a woman has a child on her own. Parents deemed pregnant Midge inappropriate and claimed that the doll promoted teen pregnancy, despite children playing with baby dolls for literally decades. Unfortunately, stores removed the doll, and a new version, one that wasn't pregnant, had a wedding ring, and featured Alan on the packaging, soon replaced her on shelves. Interestingly, there was no such backlash to an Alan doll being sold with a stroller. In 2010, Mattel published a sticker book called Barbie, I Can Be a Computer Engineer, which no one paid much attention to until 2014 when Disney screenwriter Pamela Ribon came across the book. Instead of Barbie coding her own video game and fixing a friend's laptop, she downloads a virus and relies on a couple of boys to do the actual tech work. Kids loved 2010's Video Girl Barbie, a doll with a camera inside her chest that could record 30 minutes of video. But the FBI wasn't so sure about her. A memo sent to law enforcement agencies around the country warned that the doll could be used to record pornography or other inappropriate material. Parents freaked after the memo leaked, and an FBI statement had to explain that the alert's intent was to ensure law enforcement agencies were aware that the doll, like any other video-capable equipment, could contain evidence and to not disregard such an item during a search. There is yet to be any reported incidents of illegal use. Now don't get me wrong, despite Mattel's many mishaps, I still love Barbie. She was a huge part of my childhood, and I might just be the only child who didn't deface their Barbies. Seriously, why is that a thing? Mattel have clearly taken steps to make their dolls more diverse and accessible to everyone. And as the iconic Aqua once said, life is plastic, it's fantastic.